Open up my colorful box here.
We're recording.
Oh, hi. Hi, everybody.
Danielle, I loved your song. Marie, it was great.
I didn't even know that song existed, but that was really fun.
Are you kidding me? Oh
No.
my goodness.
One of my
Ay, ay.
trying to find a way.
Even I heard that song before. Like, I would tell you to you.
Louis Prima.
I have no idea. I was like, that's pretty cool. It's really
That
rad.
is really cool.
I love that Lucas was involved in it too, because that just makes everything better. Okay, I'm doing everything one-handed. And I'm gonna try to log you. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna turn this so that you guys are gonna hear me, but I'm gonna show you my whiteboard, okay? And I'm gonna put a pillow behind it so that it sits up a little bit. Okay. Got me? Are we good?
Kinda.
Sort of. We're doing the jig. There we go. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm not loving it. I'll fix it when it gets closer. Okay. So tonight what we're going to do is a fun little exercise, and it's short, but it's really powerful. And one of these things are our teachers on board can look at this and probably think back to when they did storyboarding. So Buffy, you probably know where I'm going with this, right? Where we take a theme and we're going to basically build out the story. But in our case, we're going to build out like an organization. You can do this in business too, where you're just, I'm going to look at you for a second. Hold on. We have people in our lives that are in so many different pockets and areas and spaces and times. Hi, Greta. I didn't say, by the way, I didn't say hello. So hello. I just wanted to say that, we sometimes neglect or forget some of those pocket areas, right? And I love the list that comes from, what's his name? Somebody help me out. Valium doesn't help with memory. You know who I'm talking about, Daniel. Network Marketing Pro. Eric
Worry.
So he has that exercise thing that'll take you through like everybody you've ever known and more, right? Which is such a great tool. And if you haven't ever done it, it's a really good thing to do on a plane. It's a really good thing to just have in your pocket. Like when you have some spare time, like you can pull out 5 more names, 6 more names, 7 more names, and it just helps build the funnel. So that's super helpful. But in this case, I want to take some strategy to it. So I want you guys to think about like 3 areas of your life, and really I want to expand it to 5, but let's start with 3 just to start. 3 different areas of your life where you know people from. So, and I'm going to have you like just shout them out, like different social areas, different work areas, different areas of your life that you know people from, like that you regularly see people or could like.
Gym.
Perfect.
Church.
Okay. So like a specific church, right? So
Yeah.
for mom, it would be St. Paul's, right? And your
And
St.
Thomas.
Okay, great. See what I mean? So St. Paul, St. Thomas's, those have different meanings because even my definition of St. Paul's is different than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Because my St. Paul's is where the preschool is, and that's where people, so do you see where I'm going? And it could be even within that group, there's a subgroup of like St. Paul's choir, right?
Mm-hmm.
The choir group. Okay. So those, okay, different examples. Any other examples? Cato, you have an example of your life?
I said supermarket, library.
What was that?
The library. Were you asking where we meet people, where we see people?
Where you go regularly and interact with people. Yeah.
Yeah, I go to the library a lot.
Okay. So at the library, you probably could at least name 3 people. More likely, you could expand that to 10 based on who you've interacted with, coming, going, or whatever, right? Jen,
Right.
Jennifer. No, hold on. Jen B, because Jennifer doesn't have her picture on. So
A synagogue.
okay. So synagogue, someplace you go regularly, you know lots of people by name, all that kind of stuff. But
More often, but okay. Judgment-free zone.
Right.
Mine was already mentioned, church.
Okay. So what about
A
another?
subgroup of that would be the birthday with friends, this new foster group that I'm in.
Okay. Cool. So that cool, very cool, because that is like-minded people coming together to do something on a regular basis, right? So that's more powerful than just say, and I'm not picking on you, Jen, but like synagogue, because I'm imagining hundreds of people at synagogue, right? So that's like very broad. It's like a broad stroke, right? See how the example that Buffy gave was very finite, right? Like the church choir that Mom was talking about, that there is an X amount of number of people that are in there. So do you see how like you can go big or you can go small with this, and you can start big and you can start breaking it down into smaller groups, okay? Jennifer, an idea, someplace that you go on a regular basis where you see and meet people and interact with them.
Adult study at my temple.
Okay, adult study, perfect. Okay, Greta.
Honestly, I'm always at my job.
Work is a really great place to talk. I always tell people if they have to go to get a job to supplement what they're doing while they're building this, go do something that's in line with building your Juice Plus business, because you'll meet people that are like-minded, that are, that you can talk to on a regular, that can see you for who you are and all those good things, right? For me, it's like my preschool pickup is a big hot spot, which I'm about to lose. It goes away next year, so that changes to something different, so I have to kind of change. Another place is Orange Theory. Like, people tend to be robotic in the times that they go to work out at that place, so if I get there a little bit earlier, or I'm intentional about being there a little bit late, or I buddy up with somebody, or I intentionally work next to somebody, then I can kind of see and get to know them, okay? So of those, so that's where I want you to think these bubbles, the circles, are coming from, okay? They're the spaces with which we interact with people on a regular basis. Other things like this could be like, Chrysan's not on the phone, but like a good example for her could be like the bakery, or I know she's really good friends with Westchester Bakery, like those guys over there, or like, where else could we go? Like, like a local establishment that you frequent, right? Like there's a coffee shop down the way that like, the Lost Bean, that I'm there a lot. And so I know the owner, but there's also so many people that regularly go there that I would be able to trust. So anyway, so those are your bubbles, okay? Then from those bubbles, what we're going to do is we're going to take the idea, I guess let's each do one because we're tight on time. So let's each do one with the intention of building out 5 different areas with which you can go and essentially market, So for instance, let's say we're going to take, Buffy, we're going to take your example. I'm going to call it did you say called the birthday club? Is that what you called it?
Birthdays with friends.
Okay. We'll call it birthday club because that'll stick in my head for right now. I'm going to turn you to this screen over here, okay? So inside of this, I've got my birthday club. Okay. Then, so funny. All right, so from there, now what I'm gonna try to do is just like a storyboard, okay? Like in a storyboard, when you're building out your story, you have your main character, right? It's the person who the story's kind of all about. They're kind of the connector to everybody else that's a part of that story, right? So in our world, it looks kind of like the leader, right? It's the sponsor. So of that birthday club, was there somebody that created it?
Yes. Do you want specific names?
Well, you can make them up if you want it. We could do Mickey Mouse. You could do whatever, but like.
So Jenna H.
Okay. So, and nobody will see this unless. I'll just do that. Okay. So that's one. Okay. Now, from Jen H, were there other people that joined? So she created this, but did she recruit other people to come on? Were there more people that she recruited to come?
Yes.
Okay. So give me 3 of those people.
Jenna M. Cindy, Katie. Myself, Sylvia.
And all direct to Jen, right?
Yep. Now Jen has a boss that she needs to chime in with all of this. She has someone she has to check in with, so that would be above her. Does that fit into this?
Not necessarily in this example. So what
Yeah.
I'm going to do is show you where to create opportunity and how to connect it for yourself. So Jen brought all these gals on. Okay, you're one of those gals, but because of this scenario, I'm not going to put you on there because you're going to be basically the overall orchestrator of it all. Now, were there other people that heard about the birthday club and wanted to join because they thought, oh my gosh, that's such a cool thing, let me be a part of that?
Yes.
Okay, who were some of those people?
Pam.
Okay.
Matt. Matt's wife.
Sorry?
Matt's wife. Don't remember her name right now.
That's okay. All right. So that's good, but that's a good example for that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back. Now they fall within the category of church, right? For you?
Yes, but it's also branched out to non-church people through social media.
Cool. Okay, cool. So that really opens things up. Okay. So here you are. You've got your birthday club. Mom, let's use your choir as an example. I'm going to do another one over here. Inside the choir, the head is David.
David.
Okay. And then who is a member of that choir because David asked them to be there?
Oh God, I don't know.
Can you guess, for example?
Annalise, George, Jennifer. And I don't know all the other names.
Now, there's other people in that choir that joined, but not because he personally invited them, but because they love choir and they love to sing, and they went over and they said, can I be a part of this, right?
Yeah. Claire, me. And I'm not sure who else. Yeah. There are a couple other people who just joined too.
I'm just trying to draw examples here. So how this works is basically like you're going to go into your worlds, right? Greta, give me your at work, okay? You're at work.
So what do you want first?
At work, I kind of want to know, like, at works they're funny situations. Like there's always a power, like hierarchy, kind of like who's the rooster in the hen house, you know? Like there's a rooster, and then outside of that, there's people that are loyal to that rooster, and then outside of that, there's people that are there but don't necessarily really want to be there, but they're there anyway. Am I nailing this on the head? So it's been a long time since I've been in the working world, so let's make sure I remember this correctly. But who's your rooster?
Our rooster's never in the roost. So she's in a completely different office by herself and nobody ever sees her.
All right, but who is
You could say Debbie.
ever gets
Oh.
okay. Who are the people that are loyal to D? Like if something happens, they're running right over there, or they're on text message, or they're like, oh my gosh, D, you got to know about this. Who are those people? You know, whether they like it or not, they're going to do it.
Only the tattletales do that. So
Who are they?
most people are afraid to go to her.
Right? You can make up names. You can do Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. It doesn't really matter, but I'm drawing examples. I want you guys to see where this is going.
Barbara, Mara,
Maybe one more.
and Kathy.
Workplace outside of the rooster and the hens, we'll call them. there like 3 or 4 people who are there that don't want to necessarily be there, or are there and they're like, I can't stand the rooster, but I got to pay the bills and I don't know what to do about it? Like, give me 3 of those guys.
Greta,
Okay.
Tiffany, Natalia.
All right. Okay. You guys see what I just did? Okay. I created a storyline. Okay. I used 3 separate situations to create a storyline. What's going to happen is we're going to run into this situation in our working life on a regular. I am not a cameraman. There we go. Okay, is that better? On a regular basis, right? And so my point to you is that you want to be smart when you get in there. Okay, you want to be smart, and I don't want to say like you want to case the joint, but you really want to get a good sense, like a strong social sense of how things operate within social groups, because it's really important in our line of work, right? If you like, for instance, like I know, and I have to be very vague here because I can't, because I'm really hoping they join us. There's a gal who influences the impact, and like there's a, she influences a couple of major things that happen per year that include 6 or 7 different big families that I love and admire all of them, but it's her opinion that matters most. The problem is, what I did is I went straight to her first. And she was put off for whatever reason, probably just not readiness and all that kind of stuff. She's totally fine otherwise. She doesn't think it's bad or whatever. But readiness, let's just say, which shut me off to the other 6 or 7 families because they go to her to ask her, what do you think? See how that works? So we have an opportunity to go and build teams. And if we're being really strategic and really smart, what we're going to do is we're going to go into social situations and we're going to know that we know what we know, because we know what we know, right? We have a team to support us. This is how leaders are going to think, right? My whole focus this year is building leaders. We've got to get you guys up. So you go into these situations and your job isn't to be the know-it-all or to get all the customers or to do any of that kind of stuff. Your job is to orchestrate the social groups to work in your favor. See how that works? So, for instance, your choir, I know that David is an instrumental person inside of that space, okay? He has influence on stuff. He's impacting other groups that also touch other lives, other people. He knows a lot of things. He's positioned as an expert in a lot of areas. So what I would do in that situation is I would start to spend time with David to understand who's important to him. And then my level 2 on that would be to go in and start getting to know that person, right? And through introduction, if you're keen and smart enough about this, you can invite in kind of the right order the people that you need to come in and amen you to the rooster. And when the rooster blesses it, you have a whole team in front of you. Because each one of these bubbles now represents a sales coordinator in POB. See that? Am I way over the heads, or are you getting it? Does this make sense? Yeah, you get it? Okay. So I'm doing this because I really just want to be making you guys think strategically about, for one, how many different areas we're in. And if you're not in enough areas, go get into more. That's big, right? That's like number 1. We just have to have access to more people. And they have to get to know you, and they have to get to like you, right? And they have to see you on a consistent, favorable basis. So if you say you're going to show up to something, you show up. If you say you're going to be there on time, you're on time. If you know you're going to run late to things, you say, I normally run late. I'm going to do my best to be there on time, because you want to be a person of your word. You have to create patterns within their own thinking so that they can trust you. Because when they start to trust you, they will follow you. If they don't trust you, they won't follow you. And if there's insecurity about yourself or in your own voice about your own thoughts or about where you're headed, they won't follow you. They're going to follow the feeling that they feel and they pick up on. That's why we do so much of the self-development work. That's why it's so incredibly important, because we have to build that self-confidence piece. Like, nobody knows where you're going until you're going and you're like really going, you know? It's like that runner that they look outside and they go, like Shap is a great example in the Marinac. Like, that guy, man, he has run millions of miles, right? And everyone can count on seeing Shap. No matter rain or shine, he's going to run down Marinac Avenue. Like,
Yeah.
you see my point? Like the things you can count on. Like, it's when you can count on the stuff that's when people are willing to take risks and they're really, and this is a risk for some people. This business is a risk because they're risking their social status, they're risking what people think about them, they're risking trying something new and not looking popular or good or, you know, really skilled in front of that rooster. Do you get my point? Like, you have to think inside of people's heads. So how do we make it safe for them? Right? How do we create space where they can come and take risks with us? And the first thing I personally think in that is vulnerability. And a lot of, you know, the Brave Leaders course has done hold on as I wobble to the door. Has done a really good job of bringing that to light within the conversations within our company. But I think it's important that we are able to be vulnerable with them so that they can be vulnerable with us. Because without that, I don't know that they'll follow us anymore, right? That they'll trust us enough, or that we'll ever get to that deeper level of connection. And not to make it sound like this business is so whatever, but when it comes to building people that stick and stay, it is. You can go sign up 1 million people and see what like, you know, like they talk about in Italy, like you could throw the spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks, right? You could totally build your business that way if you want to. But in my personal opinion, it takes a lot of time to raise a distributor. You're pouring in a lot in the beginning. You want to make sure that everybody has the same launch, same opportunities. So if you're going to take the time to do that, do your homework. You know, do your homework, work it out in the back end. I'll give you an example of how this could play out in real life, okay? And then who's timekeeper? Because I don't know what time it is. And I'm out of breath from just walking through the door. That's okay.
It's 6:30.
Okay. All right. So I'll just finish with this. An example of this. So Jenny Hilly's on our team, right? Jenny Hilly is taking I'm leaving the preschool. Like, I'm leaving. So I have 2 Tower Gardens that are there. It's been a great source of interaction for me over the years. I brought Dr. Sears there. He's spoken there. Lots of customers have come from it. Some team members, not as many as I'd like. But I really didn't make that push either. But what I kept thinking about all Christmas break was I really need to like have a space where I can pass the torch. So somebody can be there in the presence, you know, where we're still sharing Juice Plus, but we're not losing it to some other team, where it's still coming into our team, right? Rather than it be another Juice Plus representative stepping into that territory and offering it. I mean, I want everybody on it, don't get me wrong, but I also am a smart businesswoman and I really like to grow my, you know, all that work that I put in there, right? So it was cool because the other day, you know, Jenny's, she's doing some substitute work there. And one of the teachers signed up under her, which I was very excited and happy about. And then I come to find that I go there, and because here's the thing, in the situation, not because I am, but just in the situation, I was the rooster. I came into the situation, I looked at both of them, I looked at the teacher and said, I'm so excited that you finally signed up. I gave her a little smack on the side of the, you know, the arm, and a huge smile. And I said, good for you. This is awesome. Can't wait for you to get started. She's like, yeah, my product just came. She goes, and you know what? She looks at Jenny. She goes, you guys, and so there was some back and forth. And then she goes, my daughter's asking about it too. Maybe I should just join the team. I said, maybe you should just join the team. But do you see how that works, right? There is an influencer. The rooster comes over and puts the amening on it. The rooster doesn't have to be the leader. The rooster just has to be the one that they look up to for the information, right? Like in that situation, because I've been the one blanketing that school for 7 years, I'm the rooster in that space. So but my point is that once she saw that I wasn't upset that it didn't come to me, that I didn't take that order away from Jenny, right? Like I love that. I was just so happy that she's doing it, right? That it all of a sudden opened doors for all these other things to happen. So just be thinking inside of your social circles where it makes sense to place people. And then if you need some help with strategy, that's where you want to lean on us, because, you know, Danielle and I are really good at this, like penciling out thing, and can kind of say, well, you know what, there's some relationship here, there's some this there, there's some this going on here, like who knows who, especially in small towns. And then I really want to encourage you guys to branch out, because we got to branch out into different states. We've got to get out into different states. We've got to get out into different countries. We really need to get out and start doing more of that. So I'm going to see if I can get someone to come and coach us on that a little bit, because I think that's a really important step for all of us to take in this next year. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention to see and kind of show you, you know, and it can be drawn a couple different ways. If I put sticks on it, it might look a little bit more like what you're used to seeing. But just know that this is, if you're thinking strategically, you can go in and maybe get a little bit further than you've gotten before inside of how it all plays out. Helpful? Not helpful? A little bit, not so much. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In regards to this, and let's say I've got a rooster,
Yeah.
or
And
a rooster.
the rooster doesn't have to end up being on the team or anything, and they just have to aim it.
So how would this correlate with if I have a customer and she has a network marketing business with a different company, but I was just to ask her, hey, would you be willing to open up your home for a wine and wellness with your circle of friends? We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Is that still something that you consider being effective, or no?
I think it's jumping the gun a little bit. I think you need to maybe with the rooster, what they want you to do, especially in that case, is go to them. The conversation might be a little bit more like this, because I'm working with one right now. And I said to her, I really feel compelled to work with you. I don't know in which capacity. I just feel like there's a lot that we're supposed to do together. And I'd really love to have some coffee and just hear what you want to do. Yeah, no worries, Kato. I want to know what you want to do in 2019 that I can come and help you and support you. So I set up time with her to really get more inside of, I don't even think I said it that way. I said, I think I want to set up time so I can understand better what you're wanting to accomplish with this vision or dream or whatever thing that you have, you know? So we're scheduling time. I've invited her for one solid year to probably 18 events. And she's been either wanting to come or busy or something coming up or whatever. But when I said that, she's chasing me to get time on my calendar to get it done. So sometimes it's just about people needing to be heard first. And we don't know. So in that case, I would really ask her a lot of questions about her business. I would say, I'm happy with my business, but I care about you as a friend. I'm curious how your system works. I think as a profession, we all need to stick together, you know. Tell me about where you're going in this year. Do you have goals set in front of you? Like, how many team members are you looking to add this year? What kind of, events are you looking to put on? Like, ask her. Get curious about it. The more curious, like, they don't care what we have to say until they know how much we care. So if you're in a position where you can spend time with her and build that relationship piece first, then at the end of that, there may be an opportunity to say, well, here's one thing I can do for you. And it would be really cool if you could do the same for me. Let's look at our calendars and kind of see. And then you could say something like, on some times of the year, like in February is a big heart health awareness, time for us. That might be a good time to do like a real heartfelt, I don't know what kind of thing she does, but like if it was candles or something, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like do the heart, event that we do, plus have you come talk about heart health and then have her do her thing. It could be, but she's not going to be willing to necessarily, I don't think, go through all that effort without the connection first. Like you have to kind of create that bridge. Like I asked a gal who I love dearly, she was looking at another business and she was telling me a little bit about it. She's like, hey girl, I know you've been doing this for a long time. Like, are you happy with whatever? You know, if you want to come. She just had me on her list. She was just following up with all the people on her list. It was mechanical. I knew what she was doing. I could see it a mile away. Oh, sorry. Okay, we need to get off. Okay. But my point being that it got to a space where we ended up we ended up I don't know what I'm saying. What did I say? It's okay. Let's go to Voxer because they got to use this this conference line. Kato, you're big enough now to get your own Zoom line. All right, I love you guys. Let's go to Zoom. We'll just ask questions there, okay? Continue the conversation. I mean, Voxer.